What up, though? Good morning and welcome to another episode of AM Opinionated. It's your man that goes by a variety of different names, monikers, and one appellation. This morning, call me Scrap. Habari Gani. The principle for today is Kuumba. Kuumba. Creativity, right? The actual Nguzo is Kuumba creativity to do always as much as we can in the way that we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. All right. So I'm gonna get to Kuumba here in a minute. First, uh I like to thank everybody last night who tuned in to Notoriously Opinionated. Uh Last night's episode was a stepping stone because it was Uh, the it had the highest viewership thus far. It had the most comments in the chat thus far, and that's all because of y'all. Everybody that tuned in to Notoriously Opinionated last night, man. I want to thank my guests. I gotta thank my guy Lamont McIntyre. I gotta thank my guy Twan Hune. I gotta thank my co-host Ramon McLaughlin, aka Negus Kafaru, the hero, and honorary shout out goes to my homeboy Bugs Low, Dwayne Germany. You know what I'm saying? He tried to get in. We had technical difficulties, but we definitely gonna get bro back on another episode of Notoriously Opinionated. And a special shout out goes to my guy Maurice Harris, man. Reese, he was supposed to be on the show last night. He was on a flight, couldn't make it, but was calling the whole time, texting me, asking me how the show went. You know what I'm saying? And he was kind of bummed out when he realized how hot the show was, and that he wasn't on it. So, but don't even trip, Reese, bro. I got you, my dude. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get you on another episode. Muggs talking about he gonna get on every episode every week. He don't care what the topic is. Just text him and let him know. Like, bro, we gonna get him over there though. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get it in. So again, shout out to all my guys, man, that was on the show last night. Made last night an epic show, man. And so in regards to that, I'd like to encourage everybody. Getting a lot of views for the different episodes. There's even a few views for the AM Opinionated. A lot of people watch the Notoriously Opinionated, and it's a lot of views for Notoriously Opinionated. But what I need you to do, like, share, subscribe to Notoriously Opinionated on YouTube. When we do these is going out to Facebook Live. It goes out to YouTube. It goes out to Twitter. And subscribe. That's what I need you to do. So because it's people that's asking me all the time, man, what can I do to help? What can I do to help promote your show? What can I do to help the show just in general? So the first thing people think is money. And money's cool. Don't get me wrong. Donations are essential because this is a small business. The thing that I really need though, I need likes. I need subscriptions. I need you to share it. Share it with your friend who can share it with your other friend. It's the whole concept of each one teach one. So if one shares it to somebody else and then they share it to two other people and then they share it to four, they share it to eight, the 8 turns into 16 and so on and so forth, you know. So like, share, subscribe, Notoriously Opinionated, YouTube. Share it on Facebook. You know, wherever you see Notoriously Opinionated, share it. Go on to Spotify. Get on my Ears of Human Activity podcast. Like, share, subscribe that, right? It's greatly appreciated. Salute. But like I said, this is my form of creativity. Putting this pod together is a form of creativity, right? There is, some of y'all may not really understand. I didn't understand until I began doing podcasts. I didn't understand how much actual, if you're taking it seriously. Let me add that little caveat. If you are taking this seriously, there is a lot that goes into broadcasting. There's a lot that goes into just doing this part of the show, like just relaying the information, right? Just that part of the show, there's a lot that goes into just that part of the show, right? But when you are the creator, the producer, the host, the the marketer, when you are the everything, I'm a one man show. You know what I'm saying? This is there, and there's a lot that goes into it. Like, after you see me on air, I'm still working. But hours before I go on air, I'm working. In between those two time frames, I'm still working, because this is an art form, So when you're talking about creativity, you're talking about creativity in a plethora of different arenas. There is creative art. There are creative words. When people say you add color to a word, right? That's that's like saying you have a very creative way of painting your words, right? So I'm also a writer. I've written poetry. I've written books of poetry over the years. I've written books. I've won awards for poetry. Um, and the cold thing is, like, uh, they say, I used to be told by poetry magazines, when I really first started writing poetry, that my words needed more color. And to be honest with you, I didn't know what the hell they meant. I'm like, what do you mean more color? You want me to write it in crayon? What the hell is you talking about? My words need more color, you know? Uh, so I'm typing my poems and sending it to you. Do you need me to, should I get some colored Sharpies? I don't get it. Add more color means that you can close your eyes and see the words, that somebody is saying, you know, and their words are painting a picture, like their words no longer are just words. You ever heard somebody speak who has such a melody to their voice and such a rhythm to the things that they say, and what is flowing out of their mouth is flowing out of their mouth so fluently, that not just the ease with which they say it, but the things that they're actually saying, A, makes sense. B, are within context of what it is that they're supposed to be talking about, right? And then there's the melody, you know. That's why Morgan Freeman has been like the king of voiceovers for decades, because he has the voice, he has the mannerism, and he has the words. He has the color, right? Now, think about it like this also. Think about the the quality of life. That's how I'm saying it. The quality of life that creativity has brought, So without the creativity and the efforts of the Africans that were brought over here, there would not be a lot of stuff, right? So uh, I talk a lot during, pretty much during uh, every holiday, every celebration, be it Juneteenth, uh, History Month in February, or Human Past Month in February, Whether you're talking about Kwanzaa, whether you're talking about Umoja Karamu, whatever it is, generally, if it's something that derives from African descent, there's going to be some sort of drums. It's going to be some sort of drumming. And Africans use drums for a variety of different reasons, right? It was all creative, but there was drumming when it was celebrations. There was drumming at funerals. There was drumming for war. There was drumming for Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Meaning giving thanks, for a lot of different things, for successful harvests, for births of children, for a variety of different things. There was drumming. That's an art form, you know. To be able to add color to a beat and allow it to convey different emotions and different messages. That's an art form, right? Now, how did that drumming and the conveyance of those beats come to America? There's some y'all may have heard of these art forms like jazz, R&B, hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Just to name some of the more popular ones. Like where would this world be? You know, and you talking about when we're dealing with music, you're talking about an art form that has tentacles and spreads out to different things. So the art form of music will spread out to words. It spreads out to fashion. It spreads out to just a dynamic within the culture, you know. Um, so without rap, without R&B, where would we have gotten swag from? Where would we have gotten where would this world be without uh Tupac? Like what how different would the lay of the land be if it wasn't for Tupac, right? How different would the lay of the land? I'm gonna tell you what, and it's gonna sound kind of weird at first, but just trip on it. You know, as far as the generation went, right? Without without crisscross, you had a whole generation that was wearing their clothes backwards because of crisscross. A whole generation. That while the music was, I mean, because I ain't, it's no need me fronting. There is still times that I will play jump in my car right now. No cap. Uh, so I ain't about to wear no clothes backwards, but that's neither here nor there. But that was a fashion statement, you know. That was a fashion statement at that time, you know. You had trends that had, who was it? Another Bad Creation that was wearing their clothes inside out. Now that was kind of ridiculous, but it was still trending, you know. It was a trend. So you had the music, or rather, it was kind of the music and the fashion style kind of blended, because you knew uh, this was crisscrossed. You know, they crossed out. You know, because you coming around with your pants backwards, shirt backwards. So instead of the royals being in the back of the royals being on your back, roses on your chest. You know, that was a culture that was creative. Them little brothers was creative to even come up with that. That's my whole point. It's not about whether it's deemed as goofy or not now. You know, at the time, it was creative as hell. You know, nobody else had thought of doing nothing like that. It was creative as hell. Man, we're gonna wear our clothes backwards. You know, uh, you talking about certain art forms that transcended from what the 70s and the 80s, and it's artists still making money off of it right now. The what Roger Troutman used to use on Computer Love, to change his voice. He had that pipe, the tube that would link to I forget what it's called, but it would change his voice to where it made a computerized kind of sound. Now it's called what? Auto tune. T Pain became a multi-millionaire off of auto tune. T Pain can't sing. You know what I'm saying? But it was such a unique and creative way that he transitioned or really brought back, what Roger Troutman was using with computer love back in the 80s. You know, and now everybody's auto tuning. It's people that know I mean, T Pain might could hold a tune in a bucket. It's some people who can't hold a tune in a bucket. They use auto tunes and makes them platinum selling artists. You know, where would we be without the style? You know, that various coaches have brung to this continent. You know, there's a certain style that goes along with it, but it we are an inherently creative people, right? Inherently creative. Can't really even help it. Can't really even help how creative we are. But anyway, let me get back to the actual principle. To do always as much as we can in the way that we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited. We cannot control what we inherited. You know, you can no more control the fact that you were born rich as those who were born poor. You can't control either one. It was not up to you. But you can control how you leave and what you leave to the next generation. So it goes back to yesterday's Nia purpose. Is your purpose going to um, enhance what you leave to the next generation or take away from what you leave to the next generation? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Is what you are creating going to be a benefit or a detriment? You know, these are the things that you have to ask yourself. Um, that being the case, um, when we create, we change life as we know it, right? So every song that is created, people adhere to and they soak it in and they listen to, and it becomes a part of the culture. You know, it becomes part of when Beyonce can have a song and the main word within that song gets in the dictionary, that lets you know right there. You know, like bootylicious is in the dictionary. You know, Beyonce is making hits and new words. It's crazy. But I look at it like this. If words that W George W. Bush made up out of thin air, if those can make it in the dictionary, why can't bootylicious? I don't see nothing wrong with it. But our style has been a different style that no one had seen before. And then, you got the kind of ethical side of it to where people will see the culture that we creatively brought to the forefront. It's like, oh man, that is cool. You know, I wonder how I would look dressing like that. I wonder how I would look talking like that. I wonder how I would look utilizing this art form. And then you have rappers, and then you have Eminem. You know, I would not dare to put Eminem in the same category as Vanilla Ice. Just because they two white dudes don't mean they the same. Just stop it. If just stop. But that's other cultures seeing the art form and finding a way to put their foot in the niche, or rather create their own niche within the culture, you know, and it has gone down like that for I don't know how long. But when we are positively creative, we add to the betterment of uh, we add to the betterment and the better functioning of our society, of our world. You know, um, again, it adds color to it. Like, how boring would this life be without hip hop? How bland would this life be without uh without artists? You know, how boring would it be? Like, when you are in just a chill mood, how how much would it take away from your life if you wasn't able to just sit back and listen to some R&B or some jazz? You know, and I'm gonna keep it 100. Uh, like, between jazz, they say if you like jazz, you'll like classical music, and if you like classical music, you'll like jazz. I love classical music. You know, it's calming. You know, classical music is just as calming to me as jazz. It's just as calming to me and soothing to me as a lot of R&B. You know, it's just another art form. Um, so just because other cultures consume another art form, you know, they say, what is it? Imitation is the sincerest. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, you know. So I don't mind it when I didn't mind it back in the day when I actually used to rap, that I would hear dudes that ended up sounding like me, that heard me get down. It didn't bother me at all. You know, it was flattering, you know. To be imitated was flattering, you know, to me. I don't know. But I also noticed that when I did write music, when I did write lyrics, when I wrote poetry, whenever I was creative, because uh, I am a cartoonist, you know, and no matter what creative art form, whether it was pictorial art or verbal art or whatever kind of art I was engaging in, I found myself being more aware of myself. That's a spiritual aspect of creativity. You know, when you are creative, you open up your mind and you don't even have an idea of what's going to come flowing out of you until it's already flowed out of you, you know, and then it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you don't know what can flow out of you and something flows out of you, you end up with things like, I don't know, Illmatic. You end up with things like Tupacalypse Now. You know, you end up with things like uh, the Black Album. You end up with things like that. Um, you end up with dances like whatever Buddy called it before Michael Jackson stole the moonwalk. Like, Michael Jackson invented the moonwalk, but Buddy that he stole the move from, I don't know what he was called. It was just a backslide, I guess. But I forget dude's name. Uh, and I ain't gonna say he stole it, you know what I'm saying? Because Mike did talk to Buddy about it. He asked him how to do it, you know. So dude was doing it. Mike just perfected it. Mike, Mike just perfected it. That's all that happened there. But so let me see. Yeah. So to do always as much as we can in the way that we can in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited. That's what art does. That's what creativity does. It it is a way to leave something solid, beautiful, and beneficial to future generations. So whenever you coming up with something, you know, and it flows out of you, the creator gave you everything that you needed. Everything that you need is inside of you right now. You know, the creator made sure of that. You know, all it takes now is for you to find whatever it is that you need motivation wise to draw it out of you. That's it. And therein lies your creativity, right? So be a benefit, not a detriment to yourself, to the world that we live in, and the future generations. Remember, support small and black businesses. Corona is killing more than just human beings. It's killing businesses. It's killing dreams. Right. So support small and black businesses. Go to Buy Black KC. Check out their website. See what and who you can support. My guy last night, Twan Hune, hey, he got a coffee brand called Fat Milk. Right. Check out Fat Milk, www.fatmilk.com, and patronize that brother too. Patronize his business. Um, uh, Again, there is myself, Johnny Waller. We have a company called Scope KC. Go to scopekc.org to check us out, see everything that we got going on. This is also a benefit to the community. This is also another art form. It's an art form to be able to go in front of Congress in Jeff City and be able to speak to them intelligently and still be able to go to the hood and communicate with anybody down there. You know, that's an art form as well. So support Scope KC. Go to scopekc.org. Support Notoriously Opinionated. You know, go to Notoriously Opinionated on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Uh, get the likes up on Facebook Live, on Twitter. That's where you can find me. Go to Spotify. You can find Areas of Human Activity on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and a variety of other FM stations. But until next time, check me out every morning, Monday through Friday, AM Opinionated, and every Wednesday is the Primetime Podcast for Notoriously Opinionated. We're going to come with some hot guests all through the new year. And I'm about to start scheduling out for the next 90 days. So keep supporting the channel. Keep supporting your man. I appreciate you. Remember, don't just seize the day. Seize the moment. You might not make it through the whole day. Peace. I'm out.